This is my 2000 Coleman, Utah pop-up camper. As with most of these Coleman pop-up campers, it came with the ABS front box. It's a plastic that cracked and leaked. So I tore it all off, put this on. I tore all the ABS plastic off of the roof and I coated it with a flat roof coating that you can get at your local hardware store. I tore the rear panel off. That was all ABS plastic as well. It's a great camper. Utah comes with 2 king-size pull-out beds, the slide-out dinette, of course the air conditioning. Down here in Florida, that's the first priority. So if you want to see how I did this, stay tuned. We'll get the pictures up and I'll explain piece by piece how I did it. Once I got the camper home and started assessing the damage, the lid for the front of the box was warping. All the seals were dry rotted. The roof was peeling. The rear panel had cracks all along the top, allowing water to penetrate into the camper. Of course, some of the damage I found, it's really hard to look for and detect when you are buying a camper. But as long as you have some basic skills with welding and woodwork, you can fix these problems with a little ambition and a ton of patience. On the rear of the camper, once I got the ABS removed, I found that 2 feet of the camper had wood rot. So all that was cut out and replaced. Unfortunately, the cabinets were rotted as well. I started building the frame for the rear of the camper with some 1/8 inch angle. I wanted a light metal for the rear because I had to mount the spare tire. If you wanted to, you could replace all the bad wood with new wood, but I wanted to be an overachiever. Didn't want to see my tire rolling down the road. Next, I used some leftover wood flooring that my brother gave me to make the rear wall and install the outlet and the smoke detector before closing in the outside. Then I did the wiring for the rear lights, primer, and wrapped it with the lightest gauge diamond plate aluminum I could find. I just drilled and pop riveted using a 30-year caulking in all of the joints. I fabricated a top plate to act as a drip edge that overhangs, so hopefully I'll never have water intrusion again. I went to the local auto parts store and found a roll of rubber edging to put on the top plate so we wouldn't cut ourselves putting the camper up and down. I reassembled the bed and the rear was done. On the front of the camper, the front box almost fell apart. The side door was hanging on by the lock and the floor was just mush. I tore the entire box off and found that I had to replace almost the first 4 feet of the flooring. I welded one piece of angle from left to right for rigidity and built the rest out of wood. I framed in the box a little lower than what the previous one was. I'll have another video on why I did that, so keep your eyes out for that one. It's a great one. I basically repeated the process on the front using a 30-year window caulking, securing the diamond plate to the wood with the aluminum screws. You don't want to cheap out and have rust stains down your nice aluminum diamond plate panels. I used a piano hinge for the lid, and I just ran some angle aluminum long ways to give the lid some rigidity. I did buy some gate locks to secure the box with my padlocks. Onto the roof, this is where I felt most out of my element. But as I found out, the ABS only protects the fiberglass shell from the elements. So I scraped off the plastic and I sanded for what seemed like days to prep the roof for the coating. There were a couple places where I had to do some fiberglass repair. Given the age of the trailer, that's understandable. When I coated it, I rolled one coat front to back, the next coat left to right. I think I put 6 coats on just because I bought the 5-gallon bucket. I let that sit for a few days before I climbed up there and put on the AC unit. I have a lot more work and ideas for this camper. The next video will be just that, a video of the inside, what I've changed so far, and the changes I still want to make. If you like what I've done so far, follow along to see what happens next. Like and subscribe, and we'll make it work.